Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
SK Gaming were Counter-Strike's most elite and accomplished core over the past 2 years. But this one has been the dark night of the soul. Losing world-renowned team player Taco and bringing in the talented American mercenary Stewie 2K was a drastic change to fit results crying out for extreme measures. Thus far, the gamble has not paid off, and Fallen's men still lie far behind the podiums and trophies they are so accustomed to. Beyond the practice room and drawing board comes a larger change for this storied squad. A return to their roots.
Perfect positioning from Kogu.
The revival of the once legendary brand made in Brazil comes as welcome news to many of their fans across the globe. And maybe the spark needed to reinstall the fear this roster once drove in the hearts of their opponents. The Giants are sleeping for now, but few of their peers hope they awaken soon.
But it's by no means a guarantee. A slip in form could not be more real as they're trying to find what was once that legendary name and legendary combination of players with a North American twist. Our analysts, of course, still joining me, YNK and Thorin. And Duncan, I think we'll have to start with you, since we've basically just been listening to your words already. But just to expand upon them, MIBR, it's such a crazy move that I'm still not necessarily convinced by, and yet they seem to be fully committed and buying into this project.
Changing to the MIBR brand?
No, the Stewie 2K
right,
change.
okay.
Sorry, a bit too vague.
That's one of those scenarios where you have to find out the behind-the-scenes information before something makes sense, because actually when they made that move initially, especially the way they announced it, I've often brought this point up, but the actual news post when they were SK and they signed him actually did say that he was the temporary fifth. It actually didn't say he was like a full-time member. So I thought they'd done it a bit cynically, like, right, you know, we've only got a few months left on the SK contract. Maybe we sign him for like a brief period. If it works, cool, we bring him along to MIBR. If it doesn't, instead, apparently, he's actually signed to Immortals. It was never SK anyway, which may be why they listed it like that. And he's presumably going to be there for many years when you hear about the hefty buyout, probably the biggest in Counter-Strike history so far. So when you add all these factors together, they are committed to it. Like, this is a move that has to work. And so whether this five-man lineup works, okay, it doesn't seem to be at the moment, despite what they're trying to do, switching things around, changing roles, changing maps. But I do feel as though, unless they're going to make two separate teams or something similar, it feels like they're going to have to commit to not only staying with Stewie, but maybe even bring in someone else that can help kind of activate him and facilitate him being the kind of player we knew in Cloud9.
And will it work long-term, but will it work short-term, Yenka? They're going up against North, and I do feel like for someone that hasn't necessarily been North's biggest fan, you're going to be giving this kind of a bit more of a coin toss than perhaps normal.
Yeah, I definitely give the edge to MIBR because of, you know, the history of the players and, you know, how good they are, and they always step up when it matters, really. But North has been improving, you know, from where they were. They have steadily, game after game, tournament after tournament, they've been showing some promising results, beating better and better teams along the way. But the problem with them is still sometimes you will see them play really well and they will take down a team like Team Liquid in the lower bracket, and then they will go up against a weaker opponent and things will start falling apart again. You know, individually, some players would disappear, team play wouldn't be there, you will have some questionable calls in critical moments of the game. So for North, it's about figuring out, obviously, how they can have those good games more often.
Sure, and MSL, of course, a big part of that. They're often praised in-game leader. Maps, though, we're going to just blast through these, given the time. But Duncan, why don't you start us off as we rattle through them? We do see some pretty predictable starts.
Yes, and obviously this is why North has a chance, because actually they don't want to play cash anyway, and that's been one of the few maps that the guys from MIBR have been able to play and actually win. And so the other map is obviously Inferno. And actually, if you're North, you want them to pick that into you. You've been playing that quite a bit recently. Instead, MIBR is going with what seems like a very left field pick, which is Overpass. Not something that's been a strength of theirs for quite some time, especially not since Stewie 2K came. Also, one that, sure, North don't really flex into, but it's definitely one they've been playing for many years and have kind of established track record on. So we get Inferno as the decider. I feel like if you're the North guys, you actually appreciating this veto. You kind of like it.
And Yanko, as much as I want, you want, and I want to hear you all talk about their Overpass, let's hold that for when we come back. Sure. And we'll talk about that when we get into it as our second map. The first, though, Mirage. Just a couple of pointers before we do jump into this one. They've already done their team talks and bums are back in seats. Mirage is a map that I think MIBR, we would always consider to be one of the strengths of the roster.
It is, but it's been a map they've lost a lot in the last few months. Yeah, this is the one that oftentimes they've played against the Navis of the world. And the big problem they've had is they've actually had decent T-sides, but their CT problems have been numerous. And as a result, they've been trying to figure out what to do in that setup. Now, funnily enough, North themselves are a team that had their own issues on the CT side. So it kind of shows where this matchup is at. It's North that's picking it into them. You know, you think of it traditionally, it's one of the best map for SK in the past.
I think if you're not Mousesports from 2 months ago, you know, picking Mirage, it's very, very difficult because it's such an open map. Anything can happen most of the time. North is on an 8th map winning streak on Mirage on LAN. Granted, there were opponents like Red Reserve, Optic, okay, Optic is good enough, but NRG twice, you know, Hellraisers. They haven't been really beating the world's best on the map a lot of the times. The Navis, the phases, and so forth. So, yeah, I think for them it's a good pick because they're definitely going to be confident on this map. Just winning, you don't think about opposition. So it might be actually a very good pick to start off the series.
Especially against the shaky MIBR. I'm sorry to cut you off, but let's get these casters involved and we'll come back to talk about it once we see the Counter-Strike unfold. MIBR, confidence shaken, and combined with North on an 8-map Mirage LAN win streak. Maybe this could be more spicy than you anticipated, boys.
I'm worried for MIBR.
I am a little bit as well. I think North is on a steady rise right now. I think it's been overdue for a while, and I think that MIBR has had problems, and it continues to show. Sure, in Brazil, they played well. Sure. I would have, even if they were in the worst form they've ever been in, which arguably they are, I would have said they would have made the playoffs in Brazil no matter what. You're invigorated in front of that incredible home crowd. They would have played with everything they had in them. It's a little different now, and under the new organization, yeah, okay, they got the first win. That was sloppy. Yesterday, they got pretty blown out, if I'm honest. It wasn't that close, despite the score suggesting otherwise at times. And North is looking impressive, I have to say. This is the best form they've been in. And I'm one of their worst critics, so I am a little scared for them, I agree.
It would be an upset, but I'm going to say North could take this 2-0. The map pool for me of MIBR right now just feels too shallow. There's no real convincing maps they have. I think pound for pound they've also got better players, but have we seen the best of them recently? I'm not so sure. Either way, we're into the pistol round here. We'll be North on the T side for now. They've already dropped quite a massive amount of utility towards short and got that mid control. You see MSL makes his way through the connector here. Lucky to be alive, I have to say. Still on 37 HP, not for long though. Fallen will deal with him. But it's all a bit of a ruse as they go in towards B, and they've actually got the upper hand now. North should be able to get a plan out of this.
Should be able to. See if they can or not. Fallen looking back in toward the site from the window. Kill almost immediately. Discouraged in doing so as he gets tagged on entry. Jump back the other way. He goes down. Still wanting to wrap back into the site. The shots come out from Stewie, and he's next in line for AZ to take out. That's pretty straightforward, I have to say.
Well, there we go. North. They are going back to their roots recently, it seems. They've seen that they've got a much more firmer game plan. The set pieces are back out. They seem a lot more structured. They had a spell where they're trying to looser gameplay. That's when they've really gone to their slump, I think. But right now, I've been quite impressed with the synergy they've got and some of the innovations they're bringing. As we'll see, the force buy from MIBR coming to round number 2 here, of course. Got CZ Deagles and Stewie on a scout. He's actually pretty decent, that weapon, so watch out for that. There are going to be a couple of rifles for North here. You'd imagine just a default coming through. We don't want to see any rushing in. As Stewie will just fire off some shots through the smoke, not tagging MSL, as you can see there. Molotovs and commitment towards A coming through. It's Kiavi to try and hunt for that first frag, but Casey has been tagged up quite significantly. But look at the pressure being applied on all the choke points here. Kills coming through, maybe a couple of trades here for MIBR, but looks like absolutely nothing will come in. Bolts left in a 5 versus 1, and looks like 3-0 is almost certainly on the cards now. This is the force buy that has equated to absolutely nothing for him. Just some damage, that was it.
That's all. So Kjaerbye managing to close it out once more. Good start from North, 2-0. As we wait and see, it's going to be steady and quiet this round, you'd expect from MIBR. CT side, they'll keep the SMGs up, and they know there'll be no armor. No upgraded pistols, full save in effect, so these SMGs can farm. The bonus round obviously becomes a possibility depending on how efficient they are. So Stewie trying to get to the underpass quickly. He'll push up to the corner and hold. Likes to go beyond it because he can hear them marching down toward B, so he wants to get behind them as quickly as he can. Good damage done by the stack in the corner, but it's all for naught in terms of kills because Mertz and MSL find the two players, and then Vald is easily able to take down Stewie on the flank. As we mentioned, he was trying to get there as quick as possible. If the stack had done damage and they'd taken the aggro far enough away, it might have been possible. Crossfires everywhere. They only managed one single kill. MSL yesterday, double op on train, was actually a part of the comeback, the equation that got them into the overtime and won them the first map.
Yeah, it was actually pretty decent with it. It was impressive. We'll see what happens as this one develops. It says got a lot of double AWP potential as well. Mirage, of course. Fallen brings out the AWP. And I was thinking this morning that Fallen up against Mertz, I'd actually give Mertz the upper hand in terms of form right now. We'll see whether that rings true as we get into round number 4. No kits to the CTs. You can see that lack of utility as well. It's always going to be a bit of an issue in the first gun round. And if you're North right now, that's when you want to be dropping set piece. You've got this burst. You've got this bonus situation going on, and you just be running in with the flashbangs. Set the SMGs in first. MSL Kjaerbye with the Mac 10s and the MP7s. You can see how effective they can be. No helmets on a couple of those players, Matt, and down they go. That's perfect call by MSL. That's exactly how it should be done. Group up as a 5, exploit the fact they won't have incendiaries or maybe even a kit. If you trade out a couple of kills and get the bomb down, you're pretty much going to win the round. And they didn't even lose a frag here. Well, there's the first, but feels like the round is out of their grasp considering they have no kits for this first round. And this is why teams like North don't actually force buy in the second round anymore. They don't ever do it. They just get deagles, no armor. So you actually have a fighting chance in the first gun round because someone makes a good call like that. It's not a default. You're going to have a very difficult time holding them off.
So back away and keep the guns up. 7 players to survive, only 1 loss for North, and I point out the 1 death for them more so than the 3 players staying up for MIBR, strictly due to the fact that it means they've yet again been very efficient and they'll be able to build up their economy. That said, with an AWP carried over and 2 drops available, there will be not quite a full buy, but near enough on the MIBR side. Colt's got head armor and utility, and I think the M4 dropped by Stewie, or for, I think it was Stewie that threw it. He's going to be on the ground. So there you go. 3 M4s, 1 FAMAS, AWP.
Is it the same tactic again? All 5 players in the same position. They've got no Mac 10s anymore. But everyone's here, and they are lining up smokes, flashes as well. I think that it's doing the same thing again, you know. Bolts is playing B. He's currently 0 and 4. Make it 1 and 5. He does take down Kjaerbye before he drops there. But coldzera isolated towards shore. Look at the smokes, and he's going to get damage through there as well. Grenades coming in, and down he goes. This is looking fantastic from North right now. Everything, apart from this, is going perfectly.
Apart from the bomb not being planted.
Yeah, it was looking very good there. They didn't have to rush that plant. I guess they didn't anticipate Fur coming out so efficiently there. But there we go. Swings it back in their favor.
Oh, Fur ran out of ammo in that magazine. Mertz was in huge trouble. 2 more bullets, even maybe 1, depending on where he could land it. He was down. He stays up on 34. They bring it back to a 2 versus 2 because AZ is able to catch Fur trying to chase it down, getting a little hungry for the kill. And now Stewie to take out Mertz will drop the bomb in the open yet again, but AZ's still playing at the van. He's got a 2 and 1-on-1. He knows Fallen's going to be in the door. AK!
What?
Absolutely eviscerates Fallen.
Oh my goodness. So let's just go over that again. I was just saying, North playing this perfectly right now. The execution, spot on. They managed to get that first kill, trade it out. The smokes go down. They nade coldzera. He doesn't even get a chance to shoot you. That's amazing. Fur made a play. He gets through the window before they anticipate it. I guess one mistake I can point out for North is they're rushing that plant. They're not guaranteeing the site's clear. They haven't got decent position until that bomb goes down. They were punished for it. But luckily, AZ, he's been playing fantastically this tournament, and he manages to save the day. This won't be a force buy from MIBR. It is going to be a partial investment. They've got maximum loss bonus now. So shotgun, CZ's coming through. A deagle for coldzera, but this is looking like 6-0. Remember, this is a CT-sided map, and they are not having a good time. I think the double AWP setup probably comes out next round for MIBR. That's what they usually do when they need to change things up. We saw it early in the tournament. They were getting wrecked on cash. Double AWP setup comes out, and they were actually good to go at that point. So we'll see whether that happens here, I would almost guarantee it right now. But here we go, coldzera. I would say they'll put the AWP in B. They'll probably give it to coldzera. He'll turret in the B apartment and let Bolt play short or something like that. It's very unlikely Bolt to pick up the AWP. That would be my guess at this point. We'll see who actually picks it. So North picks Mirage and MIBR picked Overpass. They have not been an Overpass team for a while.
Yeah, look, they haven't been any map team for a while.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They haven't been themselves for a while. I'm not opposed to it. We know Fallen. If Cold wants to step up and start fragging again, I think he really, really needs to help this team out in the current form. Fallen's very good on that map CT side with the op. There's the ingredients are still there.
Sure.
It's just, as you say, it's been a while, but I think that's more to the current form than the map itself. So we'll see if it pays off. It's certainly not a Mirage team. They showed that yesterday. Got battered on it by FaZe. And showing that North is going to try and replicate that. Fallen does manage 2 quick kills, though, with the CZ. That gives this round a chance, but that chance quickly swept away by MSL, and Mertz sweeps Fallen under the rug as well. It's all just down to Fur. Position's okay in this situation, but he's going to have to pretty much deny the bomb. 7 seconds he could if he sneaks out. They're not watching. Kirby was looking that direction but couldn't quite see him. That was possible. Little did he know.
Yeah, if he'd have gone for the denial there, I think that's the only way he wins that.
I mean, they could have traded it pretty quickly too, but still.
There's his only fighting chance, really. He didn't get any kills in the end. There it is, the double AWP setup. We're anticipating coldzera goes towards the B apartments to shut down that execution potential. Bolt's having a really rough time there. Bolt's 1 and 6 right now. coldzera 1 and 6. Those two have both been having pretty quiet performances so far. MSL, though, he's changed things up. So he's been showing so much pressure towards B. 2 set pieces towards that side of the map. And now, just as they make the adjustment, as soon as the AWP comes out towards the B side of the map, they're in towards A. They've changed it up. Fallen goes down first. Stewie 2K fighting back strong, though. Manages to find one. Is there anything else left in the tag? Great work. Good movement, but he's going to go down surely here. Burn to a crisp on the bomb site, but coldzera rotates in with the AWP, and that's more like it. He does find some great shots there. 2 versus 1 now. Vowed up in with a fighting chance here, but that smoke's going to slow him down.
Cold falls back. 2 players up. Bomb down. Boulder remaining with a minute to work with. Last round was closer than arguably should have been, but tons and tons of money for the North side, whereas the potential reset becomes a massive factor for MIBR. So Volda should absolutely go for this. Even if he doesn't sniff a win, he can do significant damage.
Just 1 kill would be quite good, especially if he gets coldzera and there's no way to recover the AWP. But now they've completely lost track of him. They won't know where he is. But coldzera is watching towards spawn. He is going to check it. Ooh, but he snuck past.
That's yeah. I was going to say, I think anyone in any matchmaking situation would check spawn eventually if you've lost track of him for this long. But the fact that he got inside of the vents exactly when he looked, this could actually work because Cold has to continue to check spawn, continue to reconsider it. And so long as he is looking in that direction, as Volda comes out from jungle, which he's going to do now, he could easily catch him off. He won't find bolts. Fair enough. Cold gets there in time. Knew that those were the 2 angles he was obligated with, but he could have easily gone the other way.
Oh, there it is. Changing things up after showing some presence towards B is the execution. Then she get the first frag, but Stewie stopped them in their tracks there and bought some time for coldzera to rotate in. Like we said, that double AWP setup was likely, considering that they were having such a rough time here on the CT side. That is the reset, though. Only 2 players survive. Plenty of money here for North. You can see Fallen's got the AWP, couldn't even afford armor. So, lose this one, double eco territory. Has to be a win, and Fur will go down first. He's known to be an aggressive player. That's an audacious play as well. By yourself, no trade potential, no utility use. It's a straight up blind peek towards underpass, and down he goes. Now that's an opening kill. So you know you've weakened a side of the map. Fur usually found in transition between A and B, near that connector. And now you know he's gone. That's one part of the map that's going to be a little bit more exposed, vulnerable, as they go back into what I can imagine will be the execution. North have played a great game so far. The calls have been spot on. And now going to be going for all the smokes all over the A bomb site. It's Stewie playing in front of them this time, not deeper in CD spawn like he was before. Can he replicate his success from the previous round? He needs at least 2.
Fallen sneaking up, getting aggressive with the AWP.
He's got no armor, remember. He's going to melt, but hitting the shots.
Well, he could melt inside of those flames, certainly. Doesn't want to use them. He's going to stack up Firebox. This can be interesting. Stewie's already got one shot from in behind him. Fallen cuts off another. They can double off of this, but now they know Stewie's there, and Volta gets both. As he committed to trying to re-peek after Fallen missed the shot. That was essentially what he had to do. Brings it to a 2 versus 2 with 27 seconds. This is audacious, but they're going to try and run all the way back around with the bomb.
I think they might cancel it. Oh, it's going to be pretty
It's
tight.
going to be very tight. They'll get a ball. They'll get there, certainly. They're going to get there with about 9 seconds, maybe a little less. It's more that if they get caught doing it, but they've gotten away with it because the CTs naturally think, well, they don't have time. They've got to go to A. Oh, I say they're going to get there. Nope, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, just barely. 4 seconds, remember, is what you need to plant the bomb. They just barely got inside the zone to do so, and that is exactly perfect because MIBR wouldn't have expected them to have the time to do so. A little bit of utility thrown would have locked them there. Now they've got to retake. No kits, no head armor. Not that it matters against AKs, but just to note, Volta's ready as well inside to checker, and Bolts has made noise. He'll step out, but he's missed the shot. That's going to give MIBR a massive chance back into it. Remember, the no kids does mean there's time. Mertz, good quick shot on the AWP and goes for the no-scope. Bolts goes down as well.
Amazing work by Mertz. What a player he's turning into. Came up from the academy team, proved himself at Star Series, and now continuing to find amazing plays here. That was really quite special. A huge round as well, Matt. Just the gravity of that victory coming in for North means that MIBR now are fully reset. They have to force fire, be eco regardless. My goodness, what a play that is. The fact he almost seems to know he's going to hit this. Nice little no-scope to finish things off. It's going to be the most gutting way to go out there for Bolts. Well, MP9, CZs, and a hit shot from Mertz again. This time to the leg of Bolts will take him down to 18 HP. This is getting dark now. Lose this one, which is likely considering the buy. 8-1 down with another full eco ahead of them. It's better.
Not much better. Run forward, upgrade the gun as well. He has an AK to work with. Armor for all, so every gun they grab essentially puts them on level footing. Smoke still at a palace, but that's gone now. Fallen that waits on the other side with the trusty CZ. Top will clear out behind the banquet. Well, intended to be a pop flash that went through the window. He threw it a bit high, so it caught the roof as well. Double bounce, blinds himself. Not intentionally, but he did fall and never even got checked. 2 AKs now grabbed for the CTs and a 2-man lead. This is becoming a possibility. It's certainly becoming awkward for North. Molotov again will buy more time. 33 seconds. Time is of the essence, and now it's Kiabi that's going to be taken into 80 HP. Just a minor nade damage, but he still has a bit of control to work with at middle. Rotation around from Bolts. He's on 18, so he just wants to stack up the positions. Stewie's gone. That's an AK down. Bolts wants to try and get back to it, but he's got to cross in doing so. Bomb found. 16 seconds, and Fallen just has to hold. They go hunting for him, knowing that they want the bomb back, and that's when Bolts strikes from Ticket. This is a round for MIBR.
Certainly is, and one they definitely needed as well. That was the force buy into it. Like I said, lose that round. It was probably the end of the map. They really would have struggled for the remainder, but that's given them a bit of a lifeline now. It hasn't broken the money quite yet of North. And it hasn't exactly recovered theirs, but they are in a much more promising position than they once were before. 7-2 now, as North bring out the AWP for AZ. I assume he's got a decent spawn. He has. He's got the best spawn for middle right now, so you want to be jumping on board with him. Let's see whether he can open things up.
Good find from Mertz. Fallen already down. Mertz this time not on the AWP, gets around the corner. That is his AWP that Fallen had, so he might consider taking it back. AZ still holding on to the one that they did have for this round. So 2 rounds now for MIBR. Interestingly enough, it's because it's in 3 rounds, so back and forth in succession they trade rounds. It breaks the economy down. North's finally low, and they do it by having pistols in the last round. The MP9 from Stewie to start it off. But the problem is bombs down. They're on 2 men again, and this will reset them once more. So just when they have a chance to pull the economy in their favor, North do everything in their power to deny it, and Bolts is already considering the save. They're not moving at all.
Yeah, they kind of have to really at this point. That's a nice play by North, though, using the good spawn they had. Fallen caught in transition towards that connector, tried to jump out the window and make his way there, but caught by the AKs and the AWP. And at that point, it just completely spirals out of control. Look at the frag charts while we're waiting. Double digits for Valda and Mertz, both at 10 frags. equally distributed across the board. Coldzera not going to survive either. It will be Mertz to take him down, and that is a massive problem. Just as they recovered it by winning the pretty much the full investment with barely any money, MP9s and pistols, they are reset again. They save an AK this time. I assume they force buy once more. But North really running away with this one. It's just down to the tactics, I think. They're looking very spot on. They're making good calls, working together. It's nothing too fancy, but there's 5-man approaches and executions after finding a pick. It's normally going to work out for you. So the force buy comes in again from IBR. Famas, Deagle, CZ, and a saved AK. Fallen does have a scout. A bit of utility to go with it, but can they find success with the lesser weaponry once again?
Smoke at the ready. That one intended for the bench. I think there's so many smokes that are applicable for B that people don't actually use. You can mid-site smoke, cover off quad, double arch they will use. It's great to see more and more teams doing so. Kirby gets the first kill on Stewie as well, which opens up a bit of space. Now they've gotten bolts. That opens up B. Cold's gonna have to rotate. And this is all for naught. It's a fake. Bombs with Valda. It's gonna go through CT spawn. It has the decision to rotate back or not. Fallen could catch it. Oh, he just got around the corner. Fallen only with the scout, but he's certainly good enough to make that work. Valda knows exactly where Cold is, and down he goes. B site wide open. Good tactic again.
Yeah, works out perfectly. Timings, especially getting through towards the B site. Not really much the CTs can do that. And this has been a problem for SK even yesterday. Timings and getting flanked, terrorists getting behind enemy lines, like more than I've seen in the last year or so. Yesterday was an absolute bonanza for that sort of stuff, like Stewie getting sniped in spawn and all that sort of stuff.
It's against MIBR. It seems that, I mean, yesterday, it wasn't so much, like this round was due to kills, right? They got Stewie early on, that forced Cold to have to consider Cat. As soon as they took down Bolts, he has to rotate to B, he has no choice. That leaves mid open, and they took advantage of it very smartly. Yesterday, it wasn't so much about that. There wasn't any kills when Rain and Nico snuck through. They just left holes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, first. Got a drop as well. There it is. And that has to be the eco now, 9-2. This is not the most exciting game of CS. It's actually great to see what North are doing. I'm actually really enjoying the tactics. It's a really solid game plan they've got. Great formations. MSL's making spot-on calls. They haven't been wrecked financially yet. They keep destroying their opponents. And MIBR, they haven't really changed anything, Matt. They've done a double orb setup, which yielded one round. They've won they've won a force buy with just pistols and MP9s. They haven't tried anything like aggressive middle. They haven't tried maybe moving Fallen around a bit more dynamically to go for a picks in a palace or something like that. But for now, a B rush, and we're not a huge fan of these, but against the full eco is actually a problem, as we'll find double digits here for North, and we're getting to that point now where if MIBR don't start posting rounds in the next 2 or 3, this is pretty much GG. They need at least, what, 4, I would say, to even make this possible.
Can at range. He'll get tagged down to 32. It's not like they can really do much. 10-2 T side Mirage. Mirage for MIBR used to be a solid map.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, every map used to be. At one point, they were just dominant. They're so far off the mark right now.
I think at this point, unless something drastically turns around, I think we'll be seeing changes here. Like, this doesn't feel correct, does it? Something's missing.
There's 2 options as I see it. One would be, if they want to continue with English, you'd have to bring in someone to go with Stewie, and I think Bolts is the least English speaking of them, the least capable in English, or the least fluent, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Sure.
So maybe he's one you look at, or you just go back to the Brazilian front, and you unfortunately you just say, hey Stewie, you know what? We tried, it didn't work. We want to go back to being strictly Portuguese. So yeah, that's the only 2 ways I see it. But you're right. If this project doesn't work, if this experiment of bringing in Stewie isn't going to work, when do you cut your losses? I think you kind of almost have to go through the major cycle.
You're going to go for the major, definitely. But here we go. This is what I want to see. Some assertive player leads. Let's do something instead of sitting back and getting wrecked by the strategies. Finally, this is looking promising as they actually realize, well, pound for pound, we're actually better players than most of these guys. So why don't we actually just go and challenge them in an angel? So that's actually happened, and it will be Fur coming out on top. Much better. So that's exactly what they needed to do. and at least go for a trade potential as well. So Fur did challenge towards underpass before. Remember, he was by himself. Even if he does win the fight, he's probably going to get traded out, which doesn't help him out. If you go 2 people, at least you're guaranteed to maintain the average, as AZ does get a great shot there with the AWP. As Bolts is in a nice position here. He needs to step up. Gets one. Good for an in-more. Not quite. MSL plucks him out of the window there, and it's going to be fallen to maintain the man advantage for MIBR at least. He's got 13 HP as the bomb goes down. They should be able to pull this one back, but they've still got no kits. Fallen, what has happened there?
He's burned.
That was like the last few seconds of a Molotov, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Stepped into it too soon. He was already in the red HP. Walked toward the doorway. Molotov takes him down. Stewie at least gets one. Mert is anticipating the flank, and rightly so, but doesn't spot Fur yet. I was going to say that time could cost them. You're right. He's got a smoke. He could absolutely do something with it. Doesn't have a Molotov. In fact, Fur's picked one up to work with himself, but Mertz again in a 1 versus 2 holds off with the bomb planted in B.
How has he done that again? He is absolutely loving this game so far. He's had a 2-on-1 clutch of an AWP, finishing it with no scope. He just won another 2 versus 1. Didn't even want to use a utility. Most times I would agree with him in that sort of scenario. You want to just have your gun out all the time. But when he got that 5-second window around here, I want to be dropping a smoke and that's kind of blocking the CT off. But fair enough, he wins. And he's won 2 massive clutches now that have completely sabotaged his opponent, as they have to purchase with pistols and scouts and MP9s. Once again, it's not a full investment, but he'll get the first pick of the double. Stewie gets an AK now. This is actually looking quite good. coldzera fighting back, so this could be the 3rd round on the board. As nades start to rain in, it's going to be a 4 versus 2. Mert's tagged up, and unfortunately for North, I don't think this is recoverable, especially if Stewie's positioning here, them running off. Should be able to get both there. As good as. Mertz can't win this now. There we go. So there it is. We've had 1 gun round and 2 eco victories for MIBR. Final round of the half here, 11-3.
Oh, they'll need the 4th. That almost goes without saying. They're getting completely blown out. I'll say it. They're not looking great. I don't want to say that, oh, this could be so much different, but there was 1 round at 7-2 when, if they'd broken the economy, you could be looking at a very different scoreline strictly due to the advantage that would have given them, but all else has failed. And truthfully, it's only now been 2 gun rounds that they've won, because the second one in that 7-2 scoreline was actually with pistols and an MP9 that started it off. So even that was not really something you would statistically put in their favor. Sure, they won the round, but I think it was a bit of a luck situation in that they were able to get the 2 AKs early enough.
Oof. Well, another timeout used. Double orb set up once again for coldzera and Fallen. They've got a couple of AKs to work with here as well. I'm feeling confident last round. I think they can get 11-4. That's what they need. 12-3 on the CD side just really won't cut it, but 11-4, I could see that working. Oh, that smoke hasn't worked out. He's hoping it'd land on the Molotov there. And Stewie will fall back, Valda. He's got a lot of vision available to him. He's going to hit that first kill, absolutely. So Bolts answers back, but they know exactly where he is, and they'll punish him for it. And this is not looking good now. 3 versus 2. Fur, the last hope, really, as he makes his way towards T-spawn. He's got the utility to work with and the M4, but Mertz, depending on timing, I think has his number. Oh, my goodness, he actually hits that dink. That's insane. This guy is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. Cold as an AWP, he's electing to hold the Deagle instead. He'll switch to it now that he gets position and clears out toward the stairs, and even when things go well, they still go wrong. He hits the shot. It's a leg shot. AZ's able to collect. We got 12-3 at half for North.
Shocking scenes here. It is North's pick, but MIBR don't even look competitive on this right now. They're 2 EK victories and then a very close gun rounds to get their 3rd. Loses pistol, it's probably going to be over, but we'll see. I guess there's no reason why MIBR can't dish out equal treatment here. We'll have a look at the buys, see who can work out where they may be heading. An interesting one, quite a technical purchase here from MIBR. We've got 2 Molotovs, 2 flashbangs, a smoke, no upgraded pistols. So what's their play here? Do they want to be Molotoving out the window and the connector and using that as a path? So what they do is want to be flushing out the van, for example, then the bench. Time will tell what they're up to. Looks like they're going towards B. Flash over, Molotov van, bench, get in as a squad. See if I can work out where they go after that.
play from Stewie. At least gets one, but he's traded out by Volda. Fur gets another, but that goes Mertz, and Volda again stepping up. He's still got bench to control, and he's only lost a bit of HP considering he's gotten 2 kills. He's on 79, which means he can happily challenge Fallen, and he does so. Cold has to pull it back from a 1 versus 2 to a 1 versus 1, and bullets that seem to go nowhere as AZ gets the shot back once again, 13-3.
AZ's been playing really well. Oh, to be fair, most of the North players have been. They've not had anyone drop off. Everyone's on double digits right now. MSL's had his moments. AZ, massive win for him there. 1 versus 1 against Cold. Zero at the pistol. It's never going to be that easy, but there's Valdek getting it done. You can see no one really looking towards his direction. Had a bit of a shooting gallery there as he got his 3rd. Bomb down. And I guess it really has to be the force buy here from MIBR. Can't really afford to lose any more rounds. 13-3 in the first map. It's a best of 3, luckily. Well then. Cold Zera, Desert Eagle, holding towards middle. They've got 1 smoke remaining. No initial kills or damage being made. I guess some good news is there's 3 SMGs on the CT side, and that's getting tagged up by the scout, but he tags a little bit harder. Finds Fallen first.
Still waiting for a chance to strike. Might get one now. Mertz not looking. Good shot. Collects on the man that was already weakened, and Fur will find Volda in jungle. This makes things possible. AZ has to remove himself from Shadow, and in doing so, that's when Boltz goes back out. Surprised he didn't consider that position, considering Boltz had already found a kill. Look at this!
All right.
Stewie gets KRB. It goes 4 rounds now for MIBR, and they do it with 4 players left alive in what was a second round force buy, if you will.
Absolutely was. Well, it's got the first frag, but those pesky CZs still seem pretty dastardly even after the nerf. So they had a slight damage reduction and removed the 1-tap potential, but they still look rather spicy in that particular round. 13-4. I don't think North are going to force buy here. They just spend, like we said, they don't actually force buy that often. There's going to be upgraded pistols. There's Deagles, go for the headshots and try and save their money. They don't have to win this round, of course. They've got a huge buffer. Just wait for their money to stabilize and then close this one out properly as the A execution comes in. You can see there's only 1 player for the CTs towards A, so they've stacked towards B. AZ shouldn't be able to do much with this. Oh my goodness, maybe he can. Brilliant shot to open things up. Stewie goes down. If he gets bolts as well, this could all fall apart for them. Oh God, it's happening, Matt. Does he have anything else?
Oh my God, AZ. Return serve as the pistols from North now step up. He's run out of ammo, so he goes for a knife, thinking Fallen's back is exposed. That might cost them because that turns it back to a 2 versus 2. Cold doing damage through the boxes, leaves Fallen to fight with now just his Glock. Doesn't want to get the reload in time as Fallen pulls it back altogether. I think maybe a reload would have been better served. Good touchdown nade from Fallen, and they secure the round, but just barely.
Oh my goodness. AZ. That was quite beautiful with a Deagle. I thought 1, that was decent, but then he gets 3. Unfortunately, like we saw, ran out of ammo. Maybe could have gone for the reload and bought himself another one, but obviously in the heat of the moment, saw the back exposed. Thought he might be able to get a knife there for his 4th. Felica now for North, 13-5. Fallen brings out the AWP. Stewie can stay on the MAC-10. Cold Zera farming some cash also with the UMP as he'll be pushing through. What is this stack they've got going on? They've got a 5-man stack in the window. So
yeah.
Flash over and see what they can find. Or like Cold Zera's bullets.
Unfortunately, he commits to UMP that doesn't do any damage to the Deagle early. Stewie's behind them. It's interesting because they tried to jump down after they committed to middle, so it was almost like we'll just go for a stacked flank in a way. It works. They trade off Cold, but the bomb's still going to be planted as they were nowhere near the sites, and now they've rotated back toward A, so they're nowhere near enough to B. Mertz gets the UMP. That'll give him a bit of cash for the kill. But it's the round to MIBR, 13-6. Fur wants to make sure no guns get carried over. Has to be careful not to feed the troll. Not to call Mertz a troll, I just felt like saying feed the troll. It's got Kirby. UMP, he knows was back towards CT, spotted it. Mertz justifies in his mind that it's worth trying to get that extra $600 reward. Goes down for it, but they'll still have enough to buy out the AWP. He'd already accomplished that. They'd already saved in order to do so.
Indeed. Well, here we go.
The extra $600 would have given him head armor.
See whether North can get back to their winning ways. They've conceded 3 here after winning the pistol. Forced by the Deagles and CZs. A little bit too much for him. Flashes towards mid as Fur is going for a very aggressive approach. As you see Stewie from the B apartments flashing around the corner. But CT's out there in full force, and Mert still hitting shots here, but Cold's out there to pick up the pieces. Kiabi, I don't think he'll be detected here at all, and indeed he will not. Great work, and this is looking fantastic now for North as Kiabi finds his second. It's now after Fallen. 3 versus 1. Still very possible for him. Would have to be something from days gone by, as he does get taken down by the AWP. What a great shot from Kiabi that was.
14-6. They finally get back to their winning ways. They'll stick to a double. Yeah, okay, they will. I was going to say MSL's got it. I saw him drop it, but that's actually because he was buying Volda a weapon, so they will have the WAWP.
WAWP.
You get what I was going for.
MSL presumably plays in towards B, I would imagine, using the, like a turret, and that's where 5 MIBR players are heading towards. And if he's there and hits the first shot, he could sabotage their attempts here at a peak. We'll see whether he comes on top. Good incendiary, might flush out Stewie. Trying to buy himself some room. Oh my goodness, they're running alive there, but Stewie still somehow finds the frag.
I don't think there was room for 2. They both tried to stay in the kitchen, but Fur had the corner. They couldn't stack on top, so Stewie had to run. He realized, wait a minute, you're occupying the space that I'd like to. It's a problem because it puts massive damage onto him that Kiabi's easily able to collect. And it's still, though, the man advantage for MIBR as they trade back against him and find MSL in the process, but Bomb, similarly to what we saw from North early in the first half, is caught planting early, and it's the same position that Fur had that Volda capitalizes on to take down Cold as well as the planter. And now, speaking of the aforementioned, it's Fur that he finds. So Bolts in a 1 versus 2 without the plant, a minute to work with.
They know where he is now as well. He has to try and plant. Yes, he has got a minute, but 2 players to find. And he is going to get the plant down by the looks of things. Balls he played is working out for him for now. He saw them tentatively rotating off, so he's going to try and get himself in towards the kitchen here. Holding up for now. Valda 3 kills into this round. Done a fantastic job. Nice work by Bolts though. Can Valda finish things off? He cannot. Bolts 2 kills and keeps the dream alive for MIBR. Very calm. As North rotated all the way around through middle, both of them committing towards short. Didn't work out for them. And that should be money broken again for North. That's a reset. 14-7 now. And Valda did such an amazing job here after his teammates went down. He rotates in and finds 3 huge kills, denying the plant as well. Wasn't quite enough. He didn't deserve to lose that round as they get into a full eco here. USPs and 2 P250s.
Stewie to the corner will work out with Cold. Great clutch. This time they go for the stack in middle. And it works out. They trade off it effectively. They've gotten 2 kills. It's 2 the other way. And then Fur works out from the underpass. Well timed, well struck. They lose 2 in the process. That's fine. It was great clutch from Bolts, as he knew the second player had to be closer in that situation. So they hold North at bay once more. They'll sit back with CZs. They're willing to be compliant in the situation and play out the bet of rounds they have. Still have 6 rounds before we get tied up. And they need just 1 more to secure overtime. At the very least. So CZs and armor. Keep in mind if they can find early enough picks, if they can trade off effectively as last time and get weapons to go with it, that armor becomes a massive factor.
AKs all around for MIBR. Couple of smokes, couple of flashbangs, and CZs. For North, see Mert sticking on the USP there. This game getting a little bit closer than anticipated. Some great clutches from MIBR. Scoreline currently 5-2 in their favor in the second half. Heading towards A again. 3 players there, make it 4. Bomb on that side of the map. As AZ just pushes through, down he goes. Pretty simple procedure there for Fur. Kiabi taken down by Fall, and that should be the round at this point. They can just hold up for any sort of CT reaction and going together, plant the bomb. They might lose 1 or 2 kills, but overall, I don't see them really breaking a sweat here in round number 23.
We'll work to Tetris. Gets that far with no intruders, and therefore he's encouraged others to take the same approach. They'll work toward A as a result. Good Molotovs to clear out any off angles, including that of Palace, if they wanted to push up and get stuck in. I think that's what you would say, Henry.
Yep.
MSL still waiting towards CT stairs. We'll be patient. Get a few guns, a couple AKs to carry over. It might be nice to work with. Gonna say there's no chance for the Ninja if that's what you're hoping for desperately deep down inside, because there's no kits and they've already found MSL's position. Just Volda remaining again, hopeful and optimistic that he'll get a gun. Gonna say that he won't, Henry. Call
Probably
it right
not.
now.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's a very common position, you even wallbang that now. So, will he survive? If he does, that's fine. He's got armor. We'll save him a bit of cash for the next round. Zera thinking about it.
Okay, good. I was going to say, if he does crawl through, then Volda's easily got a gun to work with, but smartly he will not. Expecting, as you say, it is a common position. But now we get back to guns. AWP for Mertz immediately.
AWP for Mertz, and Fallen not going to bring one out. They certainly can afford one, but obviously want to save the cash and stick with the rifles. It's been working for now. Fallen's orb has been a little bit inconsistent for the last few months, and even to the point where other players are picking it up in certain rounds over him.
Keep in mind in the new update, by the way, this is one of the other maps that has been changed. That we didn't have the changes in Belo Horizonte, so no more ladder going into B. It's staircase that goes straight up into the apartments.
Yep.
And then boxes on the other side.
Yeah, quite trivial changes, but
yeah,
changes nonetheless.
I think it's nice. Everyone used to think you had to jump on that ladder. You didn't, and it used to slow things down considerably. There's also single file now. You can, I mean, again, it's pretty minor, but done nonetheless. I feel like that's probably why they did it. It's just a little less cluttered.
No kills so far. Very slow default from MIBR, finding up some smokes on the A side. They are going to throw those in with the bombs falling back, so this looks like a bit of a fake. Just seeing if they can bait out the CT utility, perhaps. Flash goes in, Fallen falls back. Kiabi going to be challenged first. Things here. Gets one. Leaves his teammate in a bit of a compromised position. That's MSL. He does get one kill from the grave at least. 3 on 3 now. Bomb heading towards B, and that side is open, but Valda's been so strong, he sneaks in just before the utility arrives.
Good find from Fur, catches off Volda. Marks backs off, they have no other choice, so double digits MIBR. They're certainly starting to make this a possibility. At first, I just thought it was a matter of going through the motions for North and that they couldn't get the final 3 rounds due to economy as much as anything. And okay, they lost a few integral rounds. Now I'm starting to think they're struggling to find these.
Well, we always say double digits is the first milestone in a comeback. 14-10, obviously not as comfortable as it once was. Remember, they did win the first half 12-3.
As well as the pistol.
Yeah, indeed, and the pistol in the second half. So that was, what, 13-3. And as the comeback begins, MIBR now 7-2 up in the second half. So do indeed find 14-10. 3 players survive for them. Mertz will save the AWP and AZ with the M4A4, so they can maybe partially buy around that. I would say they don't have to force it just yet. They're going to take a timeout. MSL does love a timeout.
Who doesn't?
We'll see whether they want to commit anything more here. You could see them just discussing their options. They still have time. Hasn't got to the really scary point yet when it's like 14-13 and you've got no money. So the AWP M4, I would say they probably just get CZs with this saved weaponry and try and keep the money as strong as possible. Finish it off. So there's the first CZ from Valda. Get some armor as well. So there we go. 3 CZs. Makes sense. Keep the money at a healthy level. You get maximum loss bonus next round. They could have forced it, but I think that was too much of a gamble. That's when you really make yourself vulnerable at that point financially. Could have won the round, of course, but this is the safer option.
All in. Still holding and hoping to get the as Smoke deep enough to allow Cold up catwalk. Remember, he's used that smoke a few times to drop down and actually rush toward connector. He won't this time against guns. As Mertz, meanwhile, has smoked himself into the underpass. Clever little angle because it could catch Cold off. More so if he thinks the window's cleared. That smoke, that's why. Fur was sneaking up beside him. The fact that it's down makes Fur start to be slightly curious. Looks at all the angles that they could have been trying to conceal as a result of it, but finds no one. First shot lands. Fallen's tagged to 22 HP. Meanwhile, they'll boost Fur into the window with the smoke down. How far can he really go, though? Because jungle, all right, fair enough, AZ. Looked like he was going to back off it completely, but he swings back. He's caught out. Had no idea Fur was there. Good play from Bolts as well, holding against Volda and the push. Kirby's still here with a CZ. Not ready for the second player, but Bolts does post back up and get the shot nonetheless. Takes some damage, goes down to 35. Good find for Mertz in the AWP, but it's a pretty substantial lead at this point for MIBR.
Absolutely. Let's see whether MSL and Co can get anything out of this situation. So Mertz will have to save the AWP again, but another round slips away. MIBR back in the conversation of being able to take Mirage, as North just don't seem to be able to stabilize right now. They're going to save that AWP once again. Bomb going to go off for Fallen and Bolts, looking to just save the weaponry here. I can see one player hunting. That's to be Fur as he makes his way in towards the B apartments and indeed Mertz's position. So will Mertz even be able to save the weapon? 21 kills so far, looking to find 22. Not going to happen. Fur takes him down. Big kill for him. And not even going to pick up the AWP. They don't seem to want the AWP right now. It's working without. They're sticking with 5 AKs. They like, Fallen's like, I don't want it.
No, and I can understand that. T-side especially, it seems that the pace has been picked up and it's working for them because they're getting the early picks and then they can start to utilize it. But you're right, I noticed it a few rounds ago, but that was due to circumstance. They played against Pistols the previous round, then everyone survived. Now they're actually electing to go that route, and it's 3 rounds between them from 13-3 to 14-11. And MSL's starting to look less confident and more worried, I would say, with that look on his face.
AKs again, all for Mertz now. North haven't posted a round now in the last 5. Maximum loss bonus achieved. And we're off again. Execution coming in from MIBR. Been a while since they've done this right off the bat. Stewie looking for the first kill potentially, but going to be Molotoved off. AZ flashing in. This could be a great pick by him, but actually gets taken down. Stewie going to push through the flames and actually get the second kill at the same time. Mertz still fighting back, and Kiabi's here in shadow. Is this going to be enough? As Kiabi tries to present some trigger discipline there. It's getting real scrappy, a real brawl here, but MIBR coming out on top so far.
So far, indeed. Kiabi got caught on the ladder, you're right. He was trying to wait to get more than one. They've still pulled this back. Mertz with a shot, but more importantly, MSL gets Fallen. That was bombed down, middle of the site. Minute 18. Cold is forward enough that playing the bench, oh, that smoke. He could have easily snuck up on MSL. The gap gives him away, but he still manages the shots. The problem is Mertz is relocated and nails him through the box. I thought he missed the chance, as it's now map point for North.
Nails the shot. Mertz hasn't missed many today. A lot of his shots have been extremely impressive too. Map points on North's pick here. First map of this best of 3. Now the pressure has been released somewhat. What a beautiful shot that was. Well played. Perfect. You can see that the money's this still got overtime written all over it, Matt. They lose this round, they're reset. And it'll be 15-12, and they've got potentially a double eco at that point. I would say overtime quite likely here considering this buy. We'll see.
They have gone to the up, Fallen after losing a round, so trying to change things again. Mertz, he's been playing this position a few different times. Stewie senses it somehow. Obvious Spider-Man reference.
Indeed.
So I avoided it, but then mentioned it anyway to make you think about it while I didn't. Yeah, you can see the pace has changed. Now that the op's out, immediately slow it down.
Well, Fallen waiting for any sort of CT aggression right now. This is much slower. They've got the bomber T spawn. Mertz still watching the underpass as he's got his teammate in connector to cover his back. So there's Mertz and Valda just making sure no one can touches precious AWPer. Could be another A execution here with one player holding the B apartments for now. That's going to be coldzera. He probably goes towards middle once the execution begins and stops any players transitioning towards the connector. Maybe they can just focus on the bomb site. 35 seconds now. Smokes and Molotov deployed. Bolts looking likely to go in first, but he's going to have an incendiary landing at his feet.
Stu is swinging. Caught out through the smoke. He gets dinked down to 14. Good early damage from North, but no kills until now. Mertz finds Stewie. That is not the bomb, mind you, so that's still being planted. And therefore, they get the ultimate goal achieved. The first and foremost, get that bomb down early. Fallen will stay toward Firebox, which is very much engulfed, but not to where he's playing. And he gets the angle onto Mertz. Good shot, good find. Now it's lit. And he's got to move out as Kiarbi catches him in transition, all by design. It's still the one-man advantage for North. No kits, I take it back. Volda's got one, excuse me. I was going to say no kits, but Volda's got one, so he's already on it as well. Bolts needs to swing out. When he does, he's being launched by AZ, but he gets both. That's very impressive by Bolts. Good immediate identification of obligation, and you're right, he has the Molotov on top of it. It was the low HP player on it. Kiarbi gets the kill, but it doesn't matter. 15-12.
You see Kiarbi just trying to keep everyone calm at that point. He's like, all right, can't win it. He's done enough, don't worry. Still got this. It can be a very frustrating moment. You've lost a 2 versus 1. You know your money's been wrecked now. But to be fair, that Molotov, that was pretty much decided before he even threw it. I could see it all building up. Fallen, great work here. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Ooh.
That is a crazy shot.
Yeah.
Both in reactions and in eye vision. Why do I keep saying that, Henry?
Don't know.
In vision, because it was not much to see, especially when you saw it from the T side, the texture was more obvious. The CT side of texture almost blended in with the metal strapping on the boxes, so well done and well played. Good opening frag again this time from MIBR, so 15-12, and you said it, with the double eco potential, they could find 13, and for overtime is still a possibility. Volda gets the M4, rather, excuse me, thrown over from Mertz. He's been tagged. And on 38 HP, he'd much rather let his armored opponent, teammate, confused everywhere, Henry, take the gun.
Someone's going to have to take the gun. It's going to be Valda for now. Up he goes. Looking to close things out single-handedly here. Not going to happen, I'm afraid. coldzera coming online as this game develops. They could still do this. Money is such a massive issue. 13-3 up. And now 15-12 as Ferb looking quite deadly as he gets his 20th frag, 5-on-2.
Arts has been impressive, but this time there's not much he can do. I'm afraid, as they'll head over toward B, and he on 38 with no armor, and AZ on 100. Deagle, again, no armor. I'll have to allow yet another round to go to MIBR. So as much as we gave them flack in the first half, and rightfully so, their CT side looks lost on this map. It was yesterday as well. They've certainly impressed on the T side, and they might be able to actually scare North out of a map here. Their map, no less. Nearly lost their map yesterday in their series on Train, but forced out overtime and made it all work out in the end. Bolts closes it. Only one kill. Mertz is able to find it, but no guns carried over. Full save. I think they might just concede it.
That's what I said. Like, the maths when we were doing 15-11, I was like, well, if they do actually lose this round, it will come right down to round number 30 in terms of the economic standing. So full eco, yes, and it will be 15-14. It comes down to round number 30 after whether it goes to overtime. And like we said, a 13-3 game going to overtime. And if it gets that, that's MIBR in the driving seat, I'm afraid. That's going to be North crumbling. As we'll see, Fallen now making his way towards the B apartments, just trying to get that initial kill. It's quite common for CTs to jump up like that with the knife style, just trying to get the information. It's normally quite safe. It takes something quite special to get that kill. Very precise timing and a very fast shot and reaction. 5-man stack towards B. coldzera looking to get the first kill here. Absolutely going to do that. I think he can pretty much ascertain it's B stack at this point. Just going to be Molotov in his corner, shooting his teammate a bit. But that should be it for coming in to clean things up.
Just want to read out a tweet
Go on.
I enjoy Striker, so this isn't meant to call him out. There's a little bit of comedy involved. Because MIBR got caught off guard with some quick strats, but they still would have had a chance if they didn't lose 3 2v1s. Now they definitely don't. That was at the end of the first half. I agree. There was 3 2v1s that could have easily gone the other way, but to say they don't have a chance, they've proved that wrong. And they're definitely back into this. And if not for that, if not for the economy problems that they had in the first half, yeah, the ingredients were there. They just couldn't bake the pie. Does that work with ingredients?
I guess so, yeah.
But the 2v1 certainly costed them, but it was just desperate all around in those situations. Mertz was a big factor. Timeout called, and round 30. Is overtime a certainty at this point?
I wouldn't say certainty, but it seems the more likely outcome. MIBR have looked solid here. They've got 11 rounds on the T side. So we're going to have to extend this timeout. It's technical, but they wanted to use a tactical. Basically, they used the tactical, and then the coach's microphone wasn't working. So now we have to do the timeout again, I think.
Yeah, they'll just hold it at technical, meaning no one can talk. And then as soon as that's resolved, they'll go to their 30-second timeout that they are entitled to, I suppose. So silence as we wait for the admins to solve that. Ups on both sides. Fallen versus Mertz.
So, who would have thought, Matt? All the rounds after a 13-3 start for North. On their pick, still smiling. You're going to see our actual pause coming now. So this is now tactical. They're allowed to talk. Here are the second half stats, Matt. So we're going to see Mertz at the top there with Kiabi, 10 frags, Ferv 18. That's pretty unbelievable. So he's really come online with 18 kills.
Before Cold joined this team, everyone thought Fer was the best Brazilian player. Unbelievable, so good. When Cold came in, he was just so skilled, and I think took a little bit of space away from Fer that he had to reinvent himself. Another point in case, though, if Cold's going to have to step up, if the problems exist, Fer's another player that I don't want to put a lot of weight on his shoulders, but you'd expect that he's got to be a key to the equation too. He's got to be able to find that form. He liked to be aggressive. It certainly didn't work when they had him and Phelps because it limited either Cold or Fer. They had to make that decision. It's nice to see him lead the way with 18 kills this half alone. Cold wasn't much below that in terms of ADR either. I think it was 116 and 104 if I read that correctly. A little bit of damage to Stewie. So this is it. All to play for.
Will it be enough for North here? Another slow approach, but 4 players on the A side of the map for MIBR. CT set up with Mertz and CT spawning. Has got the AWP, AZ in the connector. And Mertz to be challenged first, and he rises to the occasion. Finds the first kill, looking for his second. Doesn't try to peek Bolts just yet. Bolts keen, taken down his jump, but still recovers.
Bolts needed to hit that. Got him down to 8. Somehow, like you say, he recovers it. I think due in part to the lack of damage done by Bolts.
Yeah, that felt like had to be a guaranteed kill for Bolts. He jumped in the air, and he had your cursor in the right place already.
Yeah, and think of the circumstances. Now they're 2 men down with no map control. Fer has gotten inside of the site, so something that he might be able to do with this. Flashed off, but still at bench. No one's going to peek him as of yet. I say that. They need to make sure they contain Mertz. He's the one that could swing out from CT and spot that wall. As Fer flashes off, they're going to know he's there. Gets caught with the Molotov. That's surely it. As they go down to a 5 versus 1, and it's Stewie 2K stuck inside of middle. Bomb down on the site. North may have just done enough. I say it with bated breath. 52 HP, and Mertz on 8. The AWP, though, is going to be looking toward connector. So is Valda, and it's done. It may have taken a while, and it probably shouldn't have gone that long, but MIBR come up just shy as North hold on.
Well, they don't win the map, but at least they started to look competitive towards the end there. 13-3, brought it back to 16-14. It wasn't their map pick. It was unlikely for them to win it anyway, I think. And it just got them warmed up. It's nice to see Fer, especially in the second half, looking much better. Cold Zero having some amazing moments. But my MVP of that game had to be Mertz. The young gun, his rookie year here as a pro player, and he's looking fantastic in the last couple of months. He really is doing a fantastic job for this team, and hopefully he'll be instrumental as this series develops. But there it is. It's going to be 1-0 for North. We move on to Overpass next, which is SK's pick. We'll be back with the analysts after this break.
ESL One Cologne.
Incendiary out.
Did I seriously get that dude in